the Fiio FD15. Let's talk about it. Now this is a $150 single dynamic MMCX IEM from Fiio. It is a fantastic set, and they gave this to me as a sample. So I do get to keep this IEM, and we'll be talking about what's going to happen to this IEM here and how you could win it at the end of the video. Let's get into the build quality. Now the shell of this IEM is quite nice. It is round, but it is small, so it's easy to fit in ears. It is very metallic and very well built. It has a nice nozzle and it looks good. This is the black model. There's also a silver model. We'll show the page here in a bit, but you can tell it's a very well built IEM. It looks like it'll last. It looks like it won't break, and it looks like it won't have any durability problems. So that's fantastic. This is the box. Not super exciting. Now the cable is exciting. I like it a great deal. It feels nice in hand. It's not easy to really wrap. It's a little bit stiff, but it looks really nice for a set in this price point. Its chin slider works. It has a nice Y split that has a nice little feel on this. You can kind of see that right here. But overall, it's a nice cable and it does some great things. It also has a terminal that you can change out. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Here, I'll show it to you in just a moment. And you can see once you line up there's like a little gliding hole for you to slide this into. It's very satisfying feeling that you can do it in 10 to 15 seconds. So it's one of the better, well done terminations on a cable. I really like it. I think they did a great job here. There are a ton of tips. This is about 2/3 of the tips. There's another 2 packages of them. It's very impressive as far as tips go. It comes in a nice little Lego case, which I kind of dig. Like, you can open it and close it, and you could stack these in theory, and it's just an overall nice case and nice setup. I really enjoy it. So how does this sound? Neutral, clean, a mid-centric set. It's a very nice set, and it does a lot of things extremely well. It has nice bass, and it has a lot of good things about it. It does have some fit problems that I fixed with some L-Tech tips, and I'll show these to you in a minute. But overall, when you get this dialed in with the right tips and the right fit, it just comes across as a really nice neutral set. And I really like the single dynamic drivers that do things like this. A lot to be liked about this set, and it's really, I think, one of the better sets around this price point. Let's start looking at some graphs, and then we'll go from there. Okay, before we get into some graphs, let's look at a few things here. Here's the Fiio FD15. You can see there's a silver version and a black version, both pretty nice. I bought the L-Tech tips. I found that they help the fit for me. I think everyone has certain tips that can help them. Like the Poochy nature, they're almost like parachute pants, but like these L-Tech tips can give me a really good sense and feel and like kind of catch in my ear well. And so there's something that I would fully recommend to you guys if you are interested in this IEM, because I think they add a lot to the set. All right, let's look at the graph of the Fiio FD15. You'll notice it has a very nice graph. It's like it matches my curve a lot, and we'll take a look at a bunch of other IEMs and sets that this reminds me of. But it has really great mids, and like a mid-centric set's kind of funny, but it seems like there's been quite a few that have released lately. Let's look at a few other IEMs and kind of talk how they fit in the market, and kind of we'll go from there. Okay, we recently reviewed the JD10 on channel, and if we normalize this at 500, what you notice is that the JD10 is a lot more almost like a U-shaped or like a V-shape, depending on what you want to call it. But what it does, it has a lot more bass. It starts off at around 400 and has a significant more of a bass shelf, which is kind of fun. It also has a lot of treble. It has almost 5 decibels of treble around the 2 to 6 4K mark. And that makes it a little bit fun, but it can be a little bit too much energetic. And so I think it becomes a more of a non-neutral set. The FD15 is a neutral set. It's a very clean, neutral set, and it reminds me of a lot of other IMs. I want to kind of show those to you. One that kind of reminded me of was the Truth There Hexa. You'll notice that, like, I think it's upper mids, they kind of trade blows a little bit with the Hexa, but it's a really nice thing. I think the air and the extension on the Hexa is good, but I also think the bass on the JD or in the FD15 are better. So it's kind of a trade-off. I do like the cohesive nature of the FD15, and I think it's something really to consider. Another one to look at, now this is more expensive, is the KUE Ears KE4. And you'll notice like there's a lot of similar trends in both these graphs. Like in some ways the mids of the FD15 are better, but you'll notice a little bit more bass in the KE4, which is something that I think a lot of people are going to like. A little bit more extension in the KE4 as well. But you'll notice like this upper mids region in the KE4, I think it's actually better in the FD15. So I think its mid sections is really good. But again, its bass and its upper air are not as good as I kind of would want, and I think that's something to kind of look out for. Like, but these do kind of have a similar mid-centric tuning, and I think if you're interested in something with something kind of like the JM1 style target, the FD15 could be a real winner for you. Another one to look at is the Kima 2. I mean, if you'll notice that the Kima 2 has some interesting things about it. Like, I think fit and comfort on the Kima 2 are better, but these have a lot in common. I personally kind of like the Kima 2 maybe a little bit better, but it's close. Like, to me, the Kima 2 has a little bit more dynamics and fun, whereas like the FD2 is a little bit more mid-centric and a little bit more laid back. Like, it doesn't feel like it has as much dynamics or sparkle. Like, I feel like the technicalities in the Kima 2 are a little bit better, whereas the FD15 is just, it excels in just having really great mids, and there's really clean sound. And I think these two trade blows, but the Kima 2 is cheaper by like $30. Their accessories are both really good, and so that's kind of something to note as well. Another one to note I always like is the AFU Explorer. It has better bass, a little bit less upper mids, but a little bit better extension and a little bit better technicalities. But again, if you're a mid-focused tuning, the FD15 is going to be really, really, really nice for a mid-centric tuning. I mean, another one to look at this price is the Truth There Nova. I think I would go with the FD15, but the Nova is a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more V-shaped, a little bit more energy through here, and a little bit more sub bass. It's going to come across really fun for certain tracks of music. Like, it's probably the winner. So it kind of depends on what you're looking at. You know, the market for 150, you get a lot of options, but it's nice that Fiio is doing a great option for people at this price point, and I think this is a real winner that people are going to like. Another one to think about is the Super Mix. I mean, the Super Mix is a picky one. It's hard to get dialed in, but when you get it dialed in, its extension and air can sound really great. It has a nice kind of like tone to it, but I think the mids, again, this mid-centric region from here is just perfect in the FD15, and that's something to note for people that are looking for that tuning. And you know, it's tough to say which is better, but I don't know. There's something, if you're really after something with great mids, the FD15 with it just has a smooth, beautiful presentation that I really like. I would recommend a little bit EQ with this. And if you'll notice, the only really EQ that I bothered doing was just lowering a little bit of this lower mid-range and just adding a little bit of sub bass. Doing just a tiny bit of EQ and adding a little bit more bass to this kind of helps make this a better IEM. But again, it is very source picky, or like tip picky, and getting it to fit well in my ear was a challenge. But when I added this sub bass, it helped. When I added the tips even more, it even helped even more. And it's just, you know, it's just something to note that a little bit of EQ on this IEM might help dial it into your preferences even more. The Fiio FD15. Let's rank this up. Overall, 8.3, A-. Solid set. Bass, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not slammy, but it's sufficient. It's mids. Star of the show. So good. So right. Its highs are okay. They're a little bit of a detail that's lacking. It images well, has good resolution. It feels like it just is a nice overall sound that's balanced. It doesn't feel too sparkly, too detailed, and has a nice dynamic driver to back that all up. It's no way. This is not a slammy set that just feels thunderous and boomy, but it does what it does well. And it sounds nice and good in ears. It's one of those things that it might require a little bit of tip swapping, maybe a little bit of EQ for my liking and for my tuning. But overall, like, the mids are so strong that it just kind of overpowers everything else and just makes this a very strong set and a very enjoyable set that I think people are going to like. The soundstage and space around you when you wear this, it's great. It kind of gives you that mystical feeling of things that are up and around over your head and to your left and to your right. It does a really good job at that, and it does it in a balanced, even, simple sounding package. The Fiio, an awesome little set. It looks good in hand. It feels beautiful. Has a great cable, great accessories, great tip selection, a fun little Lego case. And it gets a definite recommendation from me. I really like this set, and I think it's really quality. It's well built. Again, it feels very rugged in hand, and I like it a great deal. I do think that there are other sets out there that might be a good value, better value for you. But if you're interested in this set, if you clicked on this video to see whether this gets a recommendation for me, 1000%. It's a fantastic set with a few minor caveats that I have talked about. I really like this set, and I think this could really work for you. How do you win this set? All you have to do, comment below, say whatever you want, say hi, say something respectful, and be friendly, and we'll go ahead and pick a winner when the channel hits 2,000 subs here in probably 2 to 3 weeks at our current growth rate. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, again, let me know in the comments below. And again, appreciate all you guys for supporting the channel and subscribing. Have a great day, and goodbye. You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?